Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me today. It is a great honor to be one of the many speakers. I hope you're enjoying the online event. I want to quickly thank the organizers for this amazing event. My name is Abel Aboh. I am excited to be here as a data management expert and influencer, or as a leader as well. But as a speaker, more importantly, because to have a platform to share and contribute my voice to the thinking and help fellow professionals, I think is something it just humbles me. My passion is people, processes, technology, and data as a business integrated system. So today I'll be sharing with you my own 7 fundamentals to successfully deliver data management proposition in any organization. My work experience goes across different industries and sectors in the UK. I graduated from the University of Lincoln and also from Strathclyde Business School in the UK, where I studied human resource management. Architecture for me is a big part of me. I love architecture. So from Roman, Gothic, classical, African, modern and postmodern architectures, because I believe architecture says a lot about people, about cultures as well. So let me start by just sharing a quick story with you. Sir Christopher Wren, which was the surveyor or architect of St. Paul Cathedral in London, just after the Great Fire in 1666, September 1666, that really destroyed lives, homes, properties, and even churches in City of London. One day he went out and he saw 3 men, working as bricklayers, and he asked them the question, "What are you doing?" The first one replied and said, "I am laying bricks." The second one replied and said, "I am building a wall." And the third one replied and said to him, "I am building a cathedral." For me personally, as a data management professional, I can relate with 3 of those answers because sometimes it feels in data management, you're working in a new profession, but also it is important to recognize that data management is an incredible old profession as well. So 3 things I say to data management professionals that is so important and so vital, no matter your expertise or specialization, as I always say, is that first, you need to help your organization know your data. Secondly, you need to help your organization trust their data. It's important. Finally, you need to help your organization use their data confidently. Know, trust, and use, for me, is what building a cathedral meant. The fundamentals I will share with you today, it's just to help you to build your cathedral in your organization as you deliver data management proposition. So I know that the app is there, so feel free to use the app and send your questions as well. By the end of this session, I'm hoping that I can try and finish this before 20 minutes. I would then have the time to look into the questions and try as much as possible to answer the question. So come with me, as I share with you my 7 fundamentals. My first fundamental is people. Every organization is broadly divided into 2. I call human and material resources. There is no enterprise without people. I will go further to say there is no successful enterprise without having the right people. People is fundamental to any organization. Delivering data management proposition is not an exception as well. People are fundamental in that. The real challenge I've seen and I've observed is having the right people. I'm not talking about the right people in terms of cultural fit. I'm talking about the right people in terms of the skills and acumen. So it's important to a data management team to have the right people with a blend or a balance of technical skills and business skills as well. And I think it's important. So skills like higher cognitive skills, social and emotional intelligence, and finally, technological skills as well. I do like the McKinsey Future of Work report, talked about crucially how the workplace is going to change, but more importantly, skills are also going to change. So the next 10 to 15 years, with the advancement of automation and AI technology, it would transform the way workplace and the way work is delivered. And more so, COVID-19 pandemic has simply accelerated that. So I think it's important, if you've not read the report, the McKinsey Future of Work report, discussion papers, visit them and read the report. I think it's quite a useful report for every data management professional to read and understand. I want to quickly just talk about my second fundamental. So my second fundamental is communication. For me, communication is a big piece in delivering data management, and it is so fundamental. The story of the Tower of Babel in Genesis 11 in the Bible is a fascinating one. It is fascinating because communication is one of the reasons why the people were able to build the tower. Communication is key. So in that situation, the people spoke one language. And because they spoke one language, they were able to accomplish a lot until misunderstanding came in as a result of miscommunication and the project failed. So please look at it at Genesis 11 is in the Bible. It's a very fascinating story. But personally, let me make this point. Communication is fundamental as people are fundamental as well. I would say communication and people are almost in the same level when you want to deliver data management. Human beings are social creatures, and communication is a basic feature, of any successful human enterprise. So if you communicate, you can get by. But if you communicate skillfully, you can work miracles. So it is important for us to create our data stories, because communication is a big part of what we deliver and how we deliver our proposition, data management proposition. I do love Simon Sinek Golden Circle approach, talk about the why, the how, and the what. And I think it's important as well. Check it out on YouTube. I always refer to the Aristotle, three elements of persuasion, in his book, the Rhetoric. He talked about ethos, which is about your credibility, your expertise. He talked about pathos, which is about your emotional connection. And he talks about finally the locus, which is about your sense of reasoning, problem solving, critical thinking. It's important for the data management team to exhibit three of these characteristics as well. And it does help a lot. So the 7 C's, it's important of communication. So you've got to communicate clearly. You've got to communicate concisely. You have to communicate, correctly, completely, and cautiously. The 7th element of communication as well is important. There's written, oral, face-to-face, non-verbal. There are paralanguages, visual, symbols, icons, color, and etc. I think all these for me, they're really important so that you can use them across the different channel of communication. There is not just one channel of communication when you want to deliver data management proposition. You've got to explore all the channels that is available. But more importantly, data management team needs to be very clear about what they need to communicate. For a starter, I would recommend that you think about, if you have to communicate, you need to communicate about your team, about your strategy, about your framework, your process, your technology, your deliverables, outcomes, and quick wins. But finally, do not drop the communication ball. That is one advice I'm going to give to anyone. Do not drop the communication ball. No matter whatever you do, do not stop communicating, because that's very important. The third fundamental I want to quickly share with you is change management. The stakes are really, really high today in today's dynamic, fast-paced business environment. It does have a huge, layer of urgencies and complexity for businesses, for companies to know, trust, and use their data confidently. But the old saying is true: change is the only constant thing. So what data management deliver is also change management. I must admit, people struggle to make the connection that data management is linked to change management as well. I will say this, failure to understand that and explore and embrace change management as one fundamental to successfully deliver data management proposition needs to be addressed. Data management is about the heart and mind. It is essential to win and change the hearts and minds of your stakeholders if you want to deliver your data management proposition successfully. It is also important for data management team members to understand the change curve. Data management should support, their stakeholders as they go through each of the change journey. I would recommend a very, very good book, John Cotier's book, Leading Change. It's a really powerful book. It gives you some insight on how to deliver change as well. Number 4, my fourth fundamentals I want to quickly share with you is sponsorship. You might say, Abel, sponsorship. Yes, you all know that sponsorship is fundamental. It is very, very important in delivering data management. You cannot deliver data management without sponsorship, without the right sponsorship. Senior leadership sponsorship and support is important in the delivery of data management. Executive sponsorship is a key element, as well as senior leaders involvement. When it comes to sanctioning, evangelizing, rallying the troops, nothing for me beats an effective and engaged sponsor. So a data team still struggle to fully utilize sponsorship to deliver data management, because the reason for that is because senior leaders will not, I repeat, will not do the heavy lifting for you. So as a result, you need to think about involving middle management. Middle management involvement is important. So how do you do that? You've got to have a clear strategy on how to involve and attract middle managers. There are several researches about middle management usefulness in organization. Because middle managers would help you to do the heavy lifting. It is important for data management team to ensure that all the layers of the organization structure are aware of the data management propositions. Things like your outcomes, your deliverables, your quick wins as well. So sponsorship is a core fundamental in delivering data management. I want to quickly just talk about my my fifth fundamental, framework. Framework for me, if you do a simple Google search, you will see all sorts of framework. I call them the good, the bad, and the ugly. The point I want to make is you cannot successfully deliver data management proposition without framework. What do I mean by that? I know that data managers and data professionals do not agree on any set of framework. However, because of data consumption, the increase in data consumption, government regulations, AI technology, machine learning, automation capabilities, there's a big push at the moment, to design framework that can apply to industry. So things like financial industries, manufacturing, engineering, and sectors as well, level. So I would always say, from a starter point of view, you can think about your organizational framework around the people that you need to bring on board to be owners, stewards, custodians, who are data users and all that. You can bring the process framework as well. You can also bring in the measurement framework as well, which is around how you measure. So if you're talking about data quality, how do you measure? What are your measure? What are your dimensions? And what you need to measure. You need to measure the critical data elements, or you want to measure everything, and finally reporting framework as well, which is important. Where are you going to spill out the report? So for me, I found this very useful, but also more useful as well is the 4Ps. Things around the principles, data principles, your data policy, your processes, your procedures, your standards. And when I talk about standards, I'm also talking about internal standards and external standards as well. So it is important for data management team to clearly and effectively communicate, this framework. But more importantly, it is important to, incrementally, deliver the framework, the right framework incrementally. You just don't come, boom. You have to deliver it incrementally and take people along. So Nicola Askham has a very great course. She's one of the speakers in this event today, about data governance. I think if you want to know about framework as well, I would recommend you check her out and join one of our courses as well. The number 6 fundamental I want to quickly share with you is technology. I know you're not surprised about that. Yeah, but there's an explosion of, creation of data is unprecedented, and you've got technology company trying to capitalize on that, providing technology. And I think that's a good thing. The challenge is about having the right technology to help you manage your data and improve productivity, fast communication, collaboration, derive business insights as well, and decision making as well. And I think that this is what most organizations are looking to use technology to do. However, there's also no, shortage of, stories where organizations procure a new technology to help them become competitive, and but this technology failed to deliver, the outcome for them. But what I would say to data management professional is really important. It is important for you to carry out comprehensive research. It's important in your acquisition process. It is also important for you to not to delegate that process to other people. You've got to be central. You've got to be in it as well in the conversation. I like what Nicola Ashcombe said. She said, there's nothing really bad about, using Excel, and once you're clear about your requirement, you can then go out and procure the right technology to help you. Let me stress the point. Do not delegate that responsibility to others. It's important. Data management team needs to understand the enterprise landscape. They need to understand the legacy system. They need to understand the application. They need to understand the technical debts as well that has been already there in the business, and also the cost as well implication. And I want to say this, technology is just an enabler. It is important. It is people that make technology work. So the final fundamental I want to quickly share with you, just in conscious of time, is accessibility. Now, why did I say accessibility? Abel, what do you mean by that? I would explain. Accessibility is fundamental in delivering data management. What I meant by accessibility, I'm not talking about proximity. I'm not talking about the cloud, onshore, offshore. I'm not talking about on-prem and all that. When I talk about accessibility, I'm talking about accessibility design mindfulness, where you design your team to be accessible so the business can quickly access your team. How you design your team, Some people talk about federated, centralized models and stuff like that, but you've got to have a thinking that will form part of your strategy. And accessibility is a big part as well, because I talked earlier about reporting, how you pull out your reports. And accessibility is another piece as well, because you've got to make sure that your reporting or your artifact is in a centralized location where the business can find it quite easy to access. They can access your data quality report, they can access your business intelligence analytics as well. They can access your tools, they can access your people, they can also access your processes as well. And I think that it's important, but finally, you've got to make sure that the data management team is visible. It is visible so that people can know that, hey, there's a data management team, they exist, and this is what they do. And easy to access your platforms, I think is so important. I can't overemphasize that. It's so important as well. I always say to people, think about the Amazon principle. So these are the 7 fundamentals I want to really quickly share with you. I'm just conscious of time. And I'm just going to go over to, the questions and answers. For those of you that have sent in your questions, thank you so much. I'll try as much as possible to answer them. I'm here to answer your questions, and I will definitely answer your questions. And yeah, and because this is recorded, I just want to quickly say, I've got some couple of recommendations as well. Not just the books alone, but the data management book of knowledge is a very good resource. There are other people I've just talked about in my recommendation. I did mention Nicola Askem as well. Caroline, there are people there, Peter Jackson, name them. There are people there. Connect with them, look at them. Some of them are authors as well. Look at them on LinkedIn, connect with them, buy their books, check them out. They've got some really good knowledge, but these are just some of the people I just want to mention. But there are other people there as well in the LinkedIn platforms and every other social media platforms as well. Great, obviously, in terms of podcasts as well. There's a great podcast as well. Doha talked about really data transformation podcast. Check it out as well. That's really, really good. There's so much there, and check it out as well. I just want to quickly say, please feel free to connect with me. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Connect with me on Twitter. My handle is Abel_DM champion. I'm Abel, ABEL, Aboh, ABOH on LinkedIn. Please feel free to email me as well. And I hope you enjoyed just the 7 fundamentals I've shared with you. They're very powerful. Think about them if you want to deliver your data management proposition, but more importantly, if you want to build your data management cathedral. So please, thank you for listening, and bye for now. Thank you. Bye for now.